When Goldman Sachs tells you your economic plan will make Americans pay more, and your response is to tell them to fire their economists, you're either a comedic genius, or you think the rest of us are dumber than a Trump University degree. What up, my beautiful black people? Welcome to Black People Politics Network. I'm Mr. Red. So apparently, Trump is moonlighting as America's least qualified career counselor, telling Goldman Sachs to get a new economist because they dare say that we would pay for the tariffs. And instead of proving them wrong with actual facts, he gave us another episode of Donald Trump's Economic Fantasy Hour. We're talking fake job numbers, grocery prices from hell, and 401ks taking the kind of beating MAGA swore would never happen. We have a lot to discuss today. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
Donald Trump is now making up job numbers with Steve Moore from Project 2025 to make it seem like he had better job numbers than President Biden.
The orange piece of shit brought in this sycophant piece of shit to lie about numbers because he didn't like the real numbers that highlighted how bad of a job he's doing.
Incredible number. Just came out. Just came out. So that's a giant game. And if I would have said this, nobody would have believed me. There's your number. I'd like to ask Steve maybe to discuss a few of these numbers that were just released. I mean, literally just released. I called the president because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one has ever seen before. I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. I think when you look at them, they're all something, but this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great, but this chart is pretty amazing right here.
Now he wants Americans out there who are suffering and they know that their savings and their credit cards are maxed out, savings are depleted. Now he wants those Americans to believe magically that suffering they're experiencing right now, you know, your bill collectors are calling and saying it's past due, that's all fantasy and it's make-believe. All you need to do is just point to one of his charts that somehow he's the first one to get access to. Of course he's the first one that has access to it because the numbers are obviously fraudulent. They're fake.
Trump's job numbers are like Bigfoot, blurry, possibly fake, and only spotted by the people who already believe. He literally creates jobs on paper the way his kids creates money in Monopoly. And just like Monopoly money, you can't buy milk with it. MAGA cheers. The stock ticker frowns, and the rest of us wonder if he's just pulling these numbers from a magic hat or something less magical like his ass.
97 cents for a frickin' orange, $12.47 for frickin' string cheese. Wow, locking up the Slim Jims. Look at this small bag of pretzels, guys. Look at this. This is where it's filled. $6.48, but only $5.83. Nuts are for rich people. Look at that. That's even great value. Who drinks that poppy? $15 for soda? Look at the price of that for a bag of chips. $6. $6 for cookies, guys. $5.27 for some damn Cheez-Its. How long before you think people are going to be rioting in the streets?
Americans are ready to choose violence, and I say that with an understanding of where we are from a socio-political perspective. Because truth be told, what else is left? Americans have been politically silenced, economically silenced, and they're working on silence in the media. At one point, you could struggle towards success, right? You could get a second job or even a part-time job to keep up with the Joneses. But nowadays, the average person needs a side hustle just to make ends meet.
While Trump's on stage bragging about historic economic growth, the only thing growing is the price of eggs. The only thing growing is inflation. And the only thing growing is the divide between how much money the ultra elites have and how much we have. I mean, the Walmart aisle is starting to feel like a gated community. And honestly, when folks say they might choose violence if prices keep rising, I get it. At this point, buying groceries feels like you're negotiating for hostages.
Donald Trump is the short bus president. You don't believe me? Watch this shit.
at this. This is great. But this chart is amazing right here.
This dude is slow. He literally thinks because he went to Kinko's and printed extra large things like charts and shit and says, look at this one.
This is what you call playing in people's faces. This is what happens when you let a dude lie about a pandemic cost 1 million people their lives and you give him the job back. We just gonna let him lie about job numbers? We gonna let him literally make up economic stats.
Trump is the guy who thinks that tariffs are free money for America. And apparently, if you can't pay for food, we could just go and pick it ourselves.
No, Project 2025 and them. They did not factor in the point where Black Americans will never go to the field and work for anyone. No, we will starve to death before we do that. I don't even think they understand the dynamics of what's going on here. Because for a Black American to go into the fields for someone else, for the majority of us, for someone else, mind you, I'm saying for someone else, for us to go in the fields for someone else, to enrich someone else, or for someone else, period, okay, is oppression to us.
MAGA says he's a genius, and I say if Trump's a genius, I'm a world-class ballerina. I'm talking about doing pirouettes and all kind of shit. The man's economic plan is basically smile, wave, and hope you don't notice that your wallet's missing.
Donald Trump's gonna figure out another motherfucking way to start fucking with y'all money. I'm listening to the brokers. Oh, put your money in private equity. Oh, okay. Moved all hundreds of $1,000s over to goddamn private equity, and look what the fuck he just did. Signed a goddamn EO to let his rich, unintelligent motherfuckers on Wall Street fuck with our money. Y'all got to be out y'all motherfucking mind. Donald Trump not messing with no more of my shit. I will be living in a motherfucking dollar store from now on. I will not buy nothing other than what the fuck I need. I will wear the same motherfucking clothes until hell freezes over.
You remember when people said, Kamala Harris said that Trump would take your retirement savings? Yeah, welcome to the tank. And that whole I'll deport the farm workers tough talk? Turns out, when you realize nobody's picking the food, you suddenly find compassion. Or I won't call it compassion. I would say desperation to know that pitchforks are going to be coming soon. The man flip-flops faster than the foals under his fupa.
Just in case you guys didn't know, you're practically wealthy now. According to the White House, you're making 10 times more now during Trump's presidency than Biden's presidency. Isn't that amazing, guys? You made it. Considering the median income in 2023 was about $40,000 and household was about $78,000, let's be extremely charitable here and say in 2025, that increased to $45,000 and household is now $90,000. 10x that. You guys are making in a household about $1 million a year. You made it.
So, Goldman Sachs says tariffs will hurt Americans. This is what we've all been saying. This is what everyone knows except for Trump and the really stupid of MAGA. Trump says, fire the guy who said it. Just like he fired the person, the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If he doesn't like what's told to him, he gets rid of you. And MAGA cheers. But if you start firing all of those people, there'll be no smart people in the room to really be guardrails against Trump going with his worst instincts. Prices keep climbing, jobs keep disappearing, and the rest of us have to live in the real world consequences of Trump's actions. Remember, he's a billionaire, and he's been a millionaire since he was 8 years old. He has more common with you and me than a flea does to an elephant. Trump's economy isn't just bad policy, it's bad comedy. Because the punchline is, the joke is always on us. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.